U.S. President Donald Trump says Washington is low-keying it with Iran negotiations and signals a willingness to allow economic pressure on the country to mount. Meanwhile, Iran is demanding that the U.S. compensate Tehran for damage, while stressing the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until Washington changes behavior. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says North Korea appears ready to send more troops to support Russia in its war against Ukraine. He says the number could range from 30,000 to 50,000 additional troops. The extreme heat that's been scorching South Korea has taken a brief pause, with Seoul's over 2-week streak of tropical nights finally coming to an end. But the hot weather is expected to continue throughout the week, while the indirect effect of several typhoons could bring heavy rainfall and more unpredictable weather conditions. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. U.S. President Donald Trump says the United States is partially negotiating with Iran while signaling a cautious approach to the situation. Iran, meanwhile, has stepped up its demands, calling on Washington to compensate it for war-related damages. Our Kim Bo-kyung starts us off.
U.S. President Donald Trump said Sunday that the United States is low-keying it in terms of its approach to Iran, signaling that Washington would rely on mounting economic pressure rather than launching a new military offensive. Such remarks came during a phone call with Axios, saying the U.S. is only semi-negotiating with Iran. Trump said that the U.S. is just watching, with Iran suffering from massive inflation and is without money, saying that Iran is in a very difficult situation economically, even lacking the funds to pay its soldiers. Trump added that the U.S. naval blockade of Iran has further worsened the economic crisis. Regarding the ongoing tug-of-war in negotiations, Trump said the situation would work out well, as it always does, like a chess game. This comes after Iran announced a list of demands for Washington to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Mohammad Bagher, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, demanded the lifting of the U.S. naval blockade and the withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region. Tehran also demanded that the U.S. compensate Iran for damage caused by what Tehran described as 2 wars of aggression and lift all sanctions and unconditionally release Iran's frozen assets. The official stressed that the strait will remain closed until the U.S. changes its behavior. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi repeated the terms while adding that Washington and Tehran are not engaged in talks, adding while speaking to reporters that Tehran will not start them as long as Washington breaches an interim deal signed in June.
From our perspective, until the violations of the Memorandum of Understanding and the U.S. compensates for what it has violated in the memorandum, there is no possibility of restarting negotiations.
In terms of the agreement on the Strait of Hormuz between Iran and Oman, he said they were in the final stages but would not reopen the waterway unless the conditions are fulfilled. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says North Korea appears ready to deploy an additional 30,000 to 50,000 troops to support Russia in its war against Ukraine. In an interview cited in a post on X on Sunday, Zelenskyy said the number of North Korean personnel appearing in Russia has grown from hundreds to thousands, and that a decision has now been made to deploy tens of thousands more. Zelenskyy also called for closer cooperation between South Korea and Ukraine in response to the growing military ties between Pyongyang and Moscow. He said Kyiv is seeking support from Seoul in areas including air defense systems and drones. And Korea and China are reportedly arranging for Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi to visit Seoul, potentially on Wednesday and Thursday next week. A diplomatic official told Arirang News on Monday that the dates are still being negotiated, but didn't confirm reports of the visit. If confirmed, it would be Wang's first trip to Korea for bilateral foreign ministers' talks in nearly 5 years. He is expected to meet Foreign Minister Cho Hyun to discuss bilateral ties, North Korea's nuclear program, Taiwan, and the Middle East. Possible meetings with President Lee Jae-myung and Unification Minister Chung Dong-young are also under consideration. Seoul is expected to seek Beijing's support for denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and Pyongyang's return to dialogue. Apple is reportedly testing Chinese memory chips across product lines amid tight global supply driven by the AI boom. According to the Wall Street Journal on Sunday, Apple is reportedly in early talks with China's CXMT to source memory chips for devices sold in the Chinese market. The deal could help Apple ease supply pressure as the tech giant has been raising global product prices due to AI-driven chip costs. The move could deal a blow to Korean chip makers, including Samsung Electronics and SK hynix, raising fears over their pricing leverage and market dominance. And Seoul's 17-day streak of tropical nights has finally come to an end as the record-breaking heat eases slightly. But the temperatures will remain high this week, while the indirect effects of several typhoons could still bring sudden downpours and more unpredictable weather. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
The record-breaking heat has eased somewhat, bringing an end to 17 straight nights of tropical nights in Seoul. Heat wave alerts have also been downgraded or lifted in parts of the greater Seoul area and the Chungcheongdo provinces. However, hot weather is expected to continue this week, while the indirect effects of several typhoons could bring more unpredictable conditions. Temperatures have fallen nationwide as hot easterly winds weakened, prompting authorities to ease heat wave alerts across parts of the capital region, the Chungcheongdo provinces, and Gyeongsangbuk-do province. But the extreme heat is only taking a brief pause. Daytime highs will still hover around 35 degrees, while southern regions continue to experience hot and humid nights. A series of typhoons is also indirectly affecting weather conditions on the Korean Peninsula. Typhoon Dolphin is making landfall in China. Typhoon Kujira has dissipated, and Typhoon Chanhom is heading toward Japan. Although none is expected to directly hit Korea, they could disrupt regional pressure patterns and increase uncertainty over winds and rainfall. Heavy rain that hit Ulchingun County in Gyeongsangbuk-do province on Sunday was caused by moisture pushed northward by Typhoon Dolphin. Weather analysts say the typhoons are expected to reshape the overall pressure pattern across East Asia, making weather conditions more volatile.
As the East Asian pressure system is expected to be reorganized overall due to the influence of typhoons and other factors, I would say there's a certain degree of volatility.
Central regions are expected to remain mostly sunny this week, but areas along the East Coast could see torrential rain along the edge of a high-pressure system. Inland areas could also experience sudden, localized downpours due to atmospheric instability. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
The relentless heat at night may have eased, but as scorching daytime temperatures continue, more people are heading indoors to escape the sweltering conditions. With shopping, dining, and entertainment all under one roof, malls are becoming a go-to summer retreat for visitors of all ages. Our Hong Se-jung reports.
People are lining up one after another to enter the theater. As showtime approaches, more and more visitors are rushing inside. Even though it's a weekday morning, the theater is filled with people seeking refuge from the heat.
I think watching a movie in a spacious, comfortable indoor setting is probably the best way to deal with this kind of heat and humidity.
Rather than traveling long distances for a summer getaway, many visitors say going to the theater is their preferred way to beat the heat.
It's definitely much better than staying at home. I don't really want to go too far, so somewhere close by is perfect.
The theater is located inside the massive shopping mall. 3 floors below, giant character balloons soar above the atrium. A themed pop-up store has become another popular attraction, drawing families and children on their summer break.
It's air-conditioned, there are plenty of dining options, and lots of activities for kids. That's why I'd recommend spending the day at the mall.
With something for everyone to enjoy, the mall is attracting a wide range of visitors. Families with children are flocking to the pop-up attractions, while other shoppers take the opportunity to browse the stores.
I think we'll check out some pop-up stores with the kids, do some shopping, and then head home. It's a great place for the whole family.
As lunchtime approaches, diners flock to the food court where cold dishes such as naengmyeon or Korean cold noodles help cool down the heat. From July 27th to August 6th, average daily attendance stood at about 55,000 on weekdays and 110,000 on weekends. The first weekend of August alone attracted around 220,000 visitors, up 10% from the first weekend of the previous month. As the weather outside is baking hot, indoor spots like malls and movie theaters seem to be popular places to hang out this summer. Hong Sa-jung, Arirang News.
One doctor's legacy continues to inspire young dreamers in South Korea. An exact replica of a women's health clinic from the 1970s has drawn more than 150,000 visitors over the past decade. Our Kim So-young has the details.
Step inside, you are transported back to the 1970s. This is an exact recreation of the Women's Health and Childbirth Clinic, where Dr. Lee Gil-yo opened her very first practice back in the 1970s. The crowded waiting rooms, the urgency of deliveries, and the tireless dedication of doctors working with limited resources. From medicine, Dr. Lee went on to make her mark in education, culture, and community service, becoming a role model for generations to come.
Seeing this made me want to become a doctor and help people in need.
Dr. Lee has done so much. I want to be like her someday.
Now in its 10th year, the hall may be small, but on weekends, it draws hundreds of visitors. Children can try on doctor's coats and experience what it's like to be a medical professional firsthand.
This is a place where children can explore what it truly means to pursue a career in medicine. It's become an invaluable resource for young people.
For many Incheon families, it's become a must-visit destination where history, medicine, and inspiration all come together. Kim So-young, Arirang News.
Damaged mushrooms that would normally be sold at a steep discount are now being transformed into healthy snacks, such as mushroom jerky or mushroom jam. Our Cha Young tells us more.
This is mushroom jerky, made from dried, sliced, and seasoned oyster mushrooms. No meat is included. It is becoming popular as a healthy snack for its chewy texture and cholesterol-lowering properties. Damaged mushrooms have been utilized for snacks, rising as a new source of income at farms.
It is healthy for anyone and edible for elders. That's why we made this product.
That is not the end of the mushroom's transformation. The jam made with roasted songhwa mushrooms gives a scent of natural chocolate. Mushroom powdered seasoning has also been created, raising the taste.
The taste is quite different depending on the kind of mushroom. It was interesting to check the chocolate smell from it.
Gyeonggi-do Agricultural Research and Extension Services has finished transferring patent technology for processing mushrooms to 4 different farms and commercializing processed mushrooms.
We will be fully supporting technology development to improve the quality of the product or marketing method, like packaging.
Mushrooms, which used to be mere ingredients for side dishes, are gaining a growing presence as a high-value product. Cha Young, Arirang News.
This is the world now. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will not accept President Trump's latest plan for Gaza. Netanyahu told his cabinet on Sunday that no troops will leave Gaza until Hamas gives up its weapons. The 15-point roadmap has Israeli forces pulling back as Hamas disarms, with an international force and new Palestinian police taking over security. On the ground, Israel last week scaled back its attacks and targeted killings. Hamas says it is still committed to the roadmap and wants Washington to press Netanyahu to follow it. Netanyahu faces an election on October 27th. In Ireland, one of the world's most wanted men was charged on Sunday with directing a criminal organization. Alleged crime boss Daniel Kinahan appeared in a Dublin court just hours after the United Arab Emirates handed him over. The 49-year-old was arrested in Dubai in April. He was flown home on an Irish government jet on Sunday and taken straight to a rare Sunday night hearing under armed guard. Kinahan was remanded in custody. 4 years ago, the United States named him a leader of the Kinahan crime group and offered $5 million for his arrest. In China, more than 1 million people have been evacuated from their homes as Typhoon Dolphin made landfall on Sunday. It's the most powerful storm to hit the country this year. Dolphin made landfall near Yuhuan in Zhejiang province late Sunday afternoon with winds of about 150 kilometers an hour. Forecasters warn of up to 500 millimeters of rain in parts of the province through Monday, with risk of flooding and landslides. The city of Wenzhou evacuated more than 900,000 residents, and Fujian province evacuated nearly 99,000 people. Flights have been canceled across the region, including around 1,500 flights in Shanghai. Before reaching China, Typhoon Dolphin swept over Japan's Okinawa Islands, injuring 6 people and cutting power to more than 50,000 buildings. Forecasters say the storm will slow as it moves inland, keeping the rain falling for days. In the United States, former President Joe Biden's prostate cancer has spread. His son Hunter Biden said in an interview on Friday that the cancer has spread to his bones and is very painful and debilitating. The 83-year-old was diagnosed with an aggressive form of the disease in May of last year. His wife Jill says Joe Biden will live with cancer for the rest of his life. Hunter Biden says his father will keep fighting as long as he is alive. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
The extreme heat has finally eased. Starting Saturday night, things have become much more comfortable, with Seoul finally escaping from tropical nights. But summer is not over yet, as afternoon highs will still be in the low 30s in many places with that high humidity. And as Typhoon Dolphin moves away, cooler northeasterly winds are flowing in, while moisture from the typhoon is bringing more rain along the east coast. And that means if you're heading to the beach or coastal areas, please stay away from breakwaters and rocky shores. And this afternoon, Seoul, Daejeon, and Gwangju will be getting up to 33 degrees Celsius. Chuncheon, Daegu, Busan will make it to 32 degrees under sunnier skies for central parts of Korea. So while we have passed the worst of the extreme heat, summer is still very much in charge. Meanwhile, those on the East Coast will see more rain in the middle of the week.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.